Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here and haven't reviewed these guys in a skoosh in a hot minute. Oddbird. Yeah, Oddbird Brewing. They are in New Jersey. They're down, I don't even know where you... Stockton, New Jersey. If you know where Easton Phillipsburg is and you know where New Hope, PA is, they're kind of like halfway in between those spots. Awesome brewery. Reviewed about 4 beers from them, and I have not had this one. Well, I might have had it at the brewery, but I haven't reviewed it. Comes courtesy of my boy Keith, 93 Lumber. He dropped me off a couple Oddbirds, and this be their Mexican-style pale lager called Party Fowl. Yeah. It comes in at a whopping 5% alcohol by volume. Done and done. These are my first cans from Oddbird. They just started canning not too long ago, I believe. And Keith gave me 2 of their beers. I'll review both of them. I haven't reviewed either of them. And plus, it's kind of cool to see their stuff come in cans. On the bottom here, it says can 6623. It's the Seeks Joy and Be Kind, it says on the bottom there. If you can glean that from the camera. So we're talking about, we got 6.6 on this. Today is 7.1, so we're less than a month old on this. Let's dive into it, see what's what. You might hear random explosions. It is the 1st of July. And I have my windows open because it's summer and it's hot. And there are fireworks already going off. That's how people do in these parts. So we'll see what's what. Maybe they'll come off on camera, maybe they won't. Label-wise, I've always dug their design. Very cool, very simple. You know, very kind of like old school wood etching, but kind of modernized kind of design, and very simple, classy can. It's got that nice gold reflective material with a pale kind of like tan khaki kind of background to it. It reminds me a little bit, who does it remind me of? It reminds me of another brewery I can't put my finger on. I can't think of it. But there's a little bit of vibes to this of another brewery, but not like they ripped it off, just something very similar. But I dig on the can design. As far as the beer goes, I mean, that looks like lager. You're talking about a pale Mexican lager. For all intents and purposes, you're verging very close to American adjunct lager. But, you know, probably a little... Well, skosh a little different. Comes off a little bit more kind of highbrow when you say pale Mexican lager. Yeah, nice soft carbonation, or actually sprightly carbonation. Probably comes off a little bit like, not champagne level, but snow globy. Soft little haze to it that you expect from a smaller brewery. And, yeah, white as white could be had. Let's get a nose. Yeah, it just really comes off as a soft, sweet graininess, a combination of like a corn, just straight malt, not necessarily Pilsner malt, maybe a step above there, kind of like a, I don't know, say just a plain two-row, something like that, but a combination of like a corn two-row kind of combination, nothing too crazy, and there's really not much there as far as bittering goes. It really is just a soft, sweet maltiness, and we're done and done. Clean, crisp, no off negativeness on the nose at least. Let's just dive in. Cheers, y'all. Yeah, super ripper chugger is what this is. It really does come off to me more like an American adjunct lager than a Mexican lager. But like I said, you're kind of splitting hairs to a certain extent with that to begin with. So it kind of makes sense. It's got a nice malt base to it that is like the star of the show here. Again, it's a combination of that just kind of softer, north of Pilsner kind of maltiness with that little bit of kind of what feels like a corn addition. Nothing too crazy. It's Mexican lager. You'd kind of expect that. There's really a subtle hopping here. If I'm going to really yank something out of here, a very gentle soft bittering with maybe a melon component, but I think that's even me going for a reach on this, to where I think the hops are there as just a subtle counterbalance to the malt. There's really not much as far as hop presence goes here. Nice, just short of crispy mouthfeel, so it kind of makes sense when it comes to like a Mexican lager. They usually come off not dense, but denser than a super hyper crispy boy, but it's definitely close to that. But it's a super drinkable beer. and you're talking about done and done, there really is nothing here that's going to be like wow you as far as some kind of, you know, malt hop kind of combination that really is showy. You can get those a lot of times from small craft breweries that are trying to be a little bit, again, showy with their beers that step outside of what you would normally expect a Mexican lager to be. So it's like they call it a Mexican lager, but it's not. It's their beefed up, tweaked up version of Mexican lager. This is very much what you'd expect when you drink a Mexican lager, Tecate, those kind of things. That's not a negative. Actually, Tecate, I don't know how to actually pronounce it, I think is actually a really decent beer if you're talking about just macro lagers and just ripper chuggers that you're going to drink. You know, for me, High Life is King Shit of F Mountain, but Tecate is kind of up there. It's a really tasty beer, and this is very much in that vein. And that's what I think they're going for here. They're not going for the Americanized version. We're going to blow your doors off with some craziness and then label it a Mexican lager. It's actually true to form. Not that big of a bummer, except for the ABV. I think a lot of those beers tend to come in a little bit 4, maybe sub 4%, whereas this one's at 5. That's the only real knock I'd give it. It's hyper clean, hyper well made. There's nothing negative in this beer whatsoever. We're talking a month, and if it had any kind of offness, it would be rearing its head at least in some form or fashion at this point, and it's not there. And then, you know, as far as drinkability goes, this is stuff, you know, 4th of July weekend. If I'm going to rip a bunch of beers, this is going to be up there. So, yeah, not too shabby. I dig it. Is it one of the better lagers I've had? Is like, sure. Mount Rushmore status? No. But tasty nonetheless. One of the better Mexican lagers I've had of late. Same thing. In the conversation, eking more towards the top. I don't drink enough. It'd probably default up there, but it's very tasty, and I'm glad I got the chance to drink it. Actually, value and availability. Brewery only. And Keith, let me know what you paid and leave you with, if you like what we like this, actually not leave you, we're going to go a little further. If you like what we like this, if you like Mexican lager, traditional Mexican style lager, not the Americanized craft brewery interpretation with all kinds of crazy hops thrown into it and then being all kind of weirdy and stuff like that. If you like just true classic Mexican lager in a very, very, very well made way, then you dig this. Oddbird. Let's talk about them. Have you been to the brewery? I have. Several times. It's just far enough away to where I can't make it on the reg, but just close enough to where I can talk myself into getting down there. It's also kind of, sort of, a singular trip. You know, typically when I go down there, I have to go, I don't have to, but the closest city I go through is Flemington, so usually I'll go to Conclave, and then I'll go to Oddbird or vice versa. But it is a decent roundabout kind of way to get there. There's no, basically what I'm trying to say, from where I live up here in Hope, New Jersey, there's no easy way to get there. You kind of have to either go this way and then this way, or you got to go this way and then this way. So I try to get there. So have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this particular beer, this particular batch? All that fun stuff down there. And like I said, came courtesy of Keith from 93 Lumber. So go check out his channel. I'm sure he'll give his thoughts on the beer also. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of a holiday weekend lager rippins. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.